Kurt and Iwanyszyn.
I want to thank all of you for being out here tonight, and thank you for your support. I do want to start this evening. There's some heavy hearts in our community tonight. I learned as I was coming up here from work in Nashville tonight that former police captain Bobby Anderson sadly passed away in a motorcycle crash this morning. I've actually gotten to know him. His daughter used to work with me at Chick-fil-A, and I believe it's his sister-in-law used to work with at the time, or back in financial services as well too. So, know a lot of folks are thinking about that. So let's take a moment to pray for that family at this time, since they are struggling through so much. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this night. We thank you for this beautiful evening that you allow us to gather together and have fellowship. But as we do this, we're also mindful of those who have lost so much, and with losing Bobby Anderson this evening, and we ask that you bring comfort and peace to that family. We ask that you be with them and help us also, as we have the opportunity to be around them, to also encourage them and help us to also be encouragement to others who are also struggling. There's so many who are struggling right now with COVID going on, and the inflation is causing so much hurt in families. So we ask that you help us to be that encouragement for others. We thank you for your Son, and it's through him we pray these things. Amen. Amen. Well, again, thank you, each of you, for being out here tonight. Definitely want to express my appreciation. Definitely Fridays are always a busy night for so many, and you're taking the time to be out here. We appreciate that so much. I don't want to take up too much of your time this evening, because we're here to fellowship and enjoy the awesome music by the Fox family, and we know that you probably have come out to see them and hear them more than you've come to see me, I'm sure. So we definitely want to get them back up here and do some more music here shortly. I do want to thank a few folks. First of all, I do want to thank God for instilling in me the interest of service and the talents that he's given me. I also want to thank my wife, Rachel, who's with us tonight, because doing these things is hard on spouses. Any of you that have ever been involved in political campaigns or public service, or even if you're just involved with your job, ministry, or maybe it's being involved too with your day-to-day work, you're away from your family so often. And I'm blessed that Rachel allows me this opportunity to get involved, so I want to thank her. I want to thank my mom and dad. As I've been going back and forth to Nashville, today was my last day driving that distance over the last 10 months for the job, and I'm coming back to Cookeville to work again finally. But mom and dad have really done a lot to make this event happen, and behind the scenes, I want to thank them also for all the work they've done tonight. I want to thank the Fox family for being out here tonight, and the music they've been providing, and the encouragement they've been giving us as well. My sister Jenny and my brother-in-law Nathan are here. They've been active in trying to get this event going, and I want to thank them for their part in helping out with this event tonight. And each one of you that's here tonight, thank you for again taking some time out on a Friday evening. Now, we're here this evening to celebrate our wonderful community. We truly do have a wonderful community when you look around at what we have. It's proven by all the people that try to come here and make this place home. From all over, not just the state, but also the country and the world. We have people coming from all over. Tech is a magnet, the hospital's a magnet, but so many come here because they love our community. Look no further than just over 2 years ago and how we responded to the awful tragedy that happened not too far west of here. We all remember where we were when news came through of that monster that tore through the western parts of our neighborhoods and going out west towards the Double Springs and those areas. It tore apart lives, it tore apart homes of our loved ones and neighbors in that affected area. But it also deeply affected each one of us, whether we had loved ones in the area or whether we just watched others and the suffering they were going through. It deeply affected each of us. While that monster destroyed and tore so much apart, we as a community came together. Now, some might say the disaster brought us together, that awful tornado back in March of 2020, but no, we as a community chose to come together. That tornado didn't bring us together. We chose to come together because that is who we are as a community. Our community is about each of us working together, and our faith and our values drive us to serve in such a capacity. It drives us to be there for each other, and we should never lose that even as we grow. That's the important thing that we must think about. As we grow as a community, we do not want to lose what makes us attractive as a community. Now, why am I running? I've been asked that question a few times. Of course, it's been a great opportunity. It's been a great honor for me to serve on the county commission these last 8 years from up in the university precinct. It's been a true blessing. Dad could have mentioned a short time ago, our ancestors came from Ukraine. His father, my grandfather, came from Ukraine after World War II. He did not get the opportunity at a young age to elect those leaders over there. They were chosen by the Communist Party. We have that great opportunity to serve here. We have that great opportunity to be chosen by our neighbors. It's truly a great honor. But I did want to term limit myself because I do believe that term limits are critical in service. You don't want to get corrupted by being in one place for too long, and power does tend to corrupt. So I've been asked, I should say myself, you might have wondered in our logo why the Y is much larger than the rest of the last name. And I've even been asked in that case too, they said, is that because, why are you running? Is that what you're trying to project? Why are you running? Well, no, that's not the reason why the Y is so much larger than my last name. If you look, the top of the Y has streaks in that letter, and the Y doubles as an eagle in flight. Some of you know that I have long loved the eagle. I kind of drive Rachel nuts a little bit because I'll go to Goodwill and yard sales and pick up little eagle figurines here and there. I actually just did the other day too as well. But I've long loved the eagle. You think about this bird and what it represents. You think about the strength, the vision, the liberty, and even the strong family life that the eagle represents. So that's what this campaign is about. It's about standing strong for faith. It's about standing strong for family and also for liberty in our community. This campaign is also about two different E's. Experience is one of those E's. We have all witnessed the amazing growth and development in our community over these past 8 years. It's been almost a decade now. We think back to when Academy Sports came here. It was actually the day after the election. I can remember back in August of 2014, that very next day down here, that's just down the street at Dogwood Park, Academy Sports had an announcement right there at the big bandstand that they were coming, and all these folks were all there. It's literally the day after the election. So it's been almost 8 years now that this growth, because that was the first major job development that we had in years when Academy came. Now, I don't believe any of us believe that this growth is going to end anytime soon. Sure, we might get a recession. There might be a little bit of a lull in growth for a while, but we're not going to end our growth. This community is so attractive. Middle Tennessee as an area is so attractive for so many people, again, from all over the country. And so as we grow and as we're glad to welcome newcomers to our area, we again, as we said earlier, want to preserve what makes us that attractive area to be. We need experienced members of the council to make that happen. I have that experience, and I have much success in building those necessary relationships that are required to help power our community through the challenging times. Dad just mentioned a short time ago about inflation. Inflation is hitting our pocketbook so hard in our community, but everywhere. And one of those great issues that we need to stand on is fiscal responsibility and trying to keep taxes as low as possible, because a tax hike is always an increase, or I should say a tax hike is almost like inflation. Inflation's a tax of itself. And so as people are struggling with their pocketbooks, I've actually heard one of my colleagues on the commission a few years ago when they were looking at doing a tax hike, he actually said because of inflation, we have to raise taxes. It's the other way around. Because of inflation, we need to find creative ways to try to keep taxes low, because we don't want to hurt our families any further than we already are. So we know that relationships have led us to the success that we see now. It is no secret that the strong relationship between Mayors Randy Porter and Ricky Shelton have been a driving force and critical for our community development. So now we know that Mayor Shelton is reaching his term limit. He cannot run in this election for another term. And along with another former mayor on the council, so experience becomes even more vital as we look at this. But not only experience, but the right kind of experience. You can be on the far left. You can also be very progressive, as they say, but also be experienced. So we need the right kind of experience as we move forward as well. That you have that with me. During these last 8 years of rapid community development, I've been involved with that public service on the county commission in each of those years as a member. At a time when we are losing experience while growing fast, I know that local government works, or I should say I know how local government works. I know how meetings are run, and I am ready to serve from day one. And so that's very critical as we think about this, is this idea of experience. The other E we want to think about for a second as well is exhortation. That's a word we don't use too often in our vocabulary nowadays, is this word exhortation. We use it at church. We see Paul's scriptures about exhortation, but the word encouragement is one that's used more so today. This day and age, you probably wouldn't expect to hear the word encouragement and politics or public service in a political campaign in the same sentence. But why shouldn't we? This is a public ministry when you're in public service, so we should be hearing that word more often. We should hear those words together, we should say. So if a campaign is done right, it should be an encouragement for the community, but also for all those around and the outside. One of the great qualities of President Reagan I've always appreciated, he's my personal favorite president, was President Reagan. And one of his great qualities is that he knew his true power was not what he could do himself, what bills he could write, his executive orders or whatever else that was. But it was rather the talent he had to inspire others, because he knew if he could inspire the rest of the nation, everyone would work hard. They would appreciate their families more based on his encouragement of others. And so that is very critical for us as we look at that inflation, or that influence, we should say. The yellow in our campaign logo represents the light that we should be to our community, each of us, not just in a political campaign, but also in our everyday lives. We need to be more encouragers in doing the right thing in our community, but also for our families as well. Now, I strongly encourage all of us to get involved in this campaign to get the message out, but as we do, we are going to drive positive energy. That's going to be the focus of this campaign. We don't want to go negative, and there's no reason to go negative. 5 people are chosen in this race. So it's not about getting into this race to oppose one particular person or oppose maybe somebody that's been on there already or whatever else this might be. But rather we want to drive positive energy. We're going to remain above the fray and represent Cookeville and the Upper Cumberland in a positive light, and to all those outside our area, but also to those that are fellow citizens in the community as well. Finally, this campaign is about vision. The eagle represented in the middle of the last name of this logo is very well known for an amazing sense of vision. They are known to have the ability to focus on objects as small as a rabbit up to 5 miles away. It's amazing the vision that the eagle has, but once they target that thing that they're sighting, they actually don't lose track of what they're looking at. And so again, it's amazing the vision that these creatures have. Now we know our Golden Eagle campus just a few blocks to the north, they have a great vision for their students and for how they can drive the economy in our area. Solomon shared his incredible wisdom in Proverbs when he said, "A people perish for a lack of vision." So vision is going to be very critical for us as we focus on this campaign. We are here this evening at our historic depot in the vibrant West Side community. We see around us, these cars are going all around us. People are out with their families. That's a great thing to see. The last 2 years, a lot of folks have been stuck inside due to COVID, and we just haven't seen a lot of public events and a lot of activity. It's great to see activity out here again. And so there's a good reason why this place was chosen tonight for this event. We could have had it in some hotel ballroom. We could have had it maybe in a conference room, but we could have did it any number of places, CPAC or wherever else. But this neighborhood represents our past, our present, and our future here in Cookeville. That is this railroad that we have right alongside of us that goes right from here, goes all the way to the east, it goes to the west. This railroad helped bring our community onto the map so many years ago. As Dad said, very early 1900s, over a century ago, that this depot has been here. And so this helped bring our community here on the map, as did Tennessee Tech. The university continues to have a driving role in our success and our progress, as does Cookeville Regional Medical Center just a few blocks to our north. Now going forward, these institutions will continue to play a driving role for our economy and for our community growth, but also they do need our support. But along with that, this neighborhood also brings together other elements of our future. We can look around at the vibrant small business community. We have Cream City Ice Cream Shop and the Boutique Mall and Poppy's and Crawdaddy's and all these small businesses around us. Small businesses drive our job growth. They drive our economy in our area. And these small businesses need our support. As a city council representative, I would be a supporter of small business, as I currently am already. We also see SAIC down the street at the old Citizens Bank and Regions Bank building. SAIC has several hundred jobs for high-tech professionals, good-paying jobs. I think their average wage is something like $60,000, I believe. So really good jobs for our younger folks and for our families as well. We also look at what's going on just to our right side here. For some it's your left, but also to our right. We look at the Builder Supply facility that has closed so many years ago, the Wilson facility that used to be here, and there's plans for redeveloping those areas. And as we look to grow, the transportation infrastructure is critical and it's vital for us to accommodate all the coming and going of our people. Now we must find solutions for our auto traffic. Though some of those things are done by the state level, our Jefferson Avenue, Willow Avenue, 10th Street. Those areas are state, so that's where those relationships I spoke of earlier, that's where they'll start becoming critical, the ability and the experience to develop relationships and already having established relationships are critical as we look at getting TDOT involved in some of these projects. But also, not just auto traffic needs to find solutions, but we need to find solutions for walking, for bicycling. even also for the other modes of transportation, even looking at the potential of using these rails again, maybe to move people through the region. Today, I ended 10 months of driving back and forth to Nashville on my day job. I used to work at an office down on near Restaurant Row, and I was offered the opportunity at the end of June last year to become a branch manager at our main office in Nashville. Fortunately, though, in the last 10 months, I've been able to stay with the organization but come back to home starting on Monday, so I'm ready to end that commute. But I've learned so much in that commute. We just heard back just at the beginning of this week that I-40 is the deadliest interstate in our country because of all the traffic. And there's been actually times, it normally takes me an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes to get one way back and forth to work. There's been times it's taken me 2.5 hours, not even in regular weather conditions, because we have crashes that shut down I-40. And so because of this, as the Mid-State continues to grow along with other areas around the South, I-40 will become more congested. This isn't the end of congestion for 40, it's going to become more congested. I can't tell you the number of plates I've seen from New England and Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, other places, because folks are coming from the Northeast, and not just Tennessee, but they're going to Texas, they're going to Arkansas, maybe to the West Coast, so that interstate will continue to get more congested. And I-40 will continue to be that kind of that bane of that travel for so many people going to Nashville. That will also spill over into our community. Those folks need a place to stay when the interstate shut down. Those folks need a place to eat, so we'll have more traffic in our community as well. And so we need to find those solutions and look at these rails as being one of those solutions. We need to find a way to do it fiscally responsibly, though, as we do all these things, whether it's developing our community and looking for fitness programs, and we do need to support our fitness, we need to support our law enforcement, there's no doubt about that. But we need to find a way, again, as we said earlier, to remain fiscally responsible, and we need to work to keep those taxes low. That has been the focus of my service on the commission, along with, again, preserving quality of life, but also supporting law enforcement and public safety. It's very critical that we do that as we continue to grow, and as we're in such a volatile environment with our society, there's just such a lack of respect, unfortunately, for human life. So our law enforcement does need to be protected and defended as well. I've also encouraged economic development and also representation with integrity and transparency. This is the right experience that I desire to bring to the Cookeville City Council. We said not just good experience, but the right experience as well. But we need your help to make this a reality. A campaign is never about the candidate alone. Rather, it's a community effort. I need you to pray, first of all, for myself, but also for this campaign. Pray for this vision that we're embarking upon, for wisdom and also for boldness to stand in the gap. To be successful, we need to get the message out, so spread the word about this campaign. Spread it in your schools, in your workplaces, and in your churches, and even in your neighborhood as well. We need volunteers to help us get the message out. So at the table, when you picked up your pizza and chips and the water, you may have seen that there is a volunteer card over there. Be sure to pick one of those up, and we definitely encourage you to get involved with the campaign. Let us know how you would like to be involved. You can volunteer to knock on doors, endorse publicly this campaign, or even display a yard sign, and even to give financially. That's something that's always hard for me to ask for. I've never been one that's good. I used to do a few things on the side with direct marketing and do a little sales on the side, but I always have a hard time asking for sales and for money, because I know we all work hard for our money. But the truth of the matter is, if you find in your heart to give financially, that's essential to get the message out as well, if you're able to do that. So we also definitely need your help with that. And I know with these radically inflated prices, that's not easy to do. But we do appreciate that if you're able to do that. But again, we appreciate your support and prayers, and we appreciate you being here today at this event. We thank you for being with us. Together, we will make the Hub City best. I think that's a great slogan to go with, because we do need to work together, and we can be the best in Tennessee. We're already right there at the top, and we can be even better as we work together. And so again, thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to working together as we do that. I would like to ask Kurt Settles to come up here and say a few words. As Dad mentioned a short time ago, last year he taught us a Constitution course. I think Dad's going through it a second time again. But I always say that Kurt's our Constitution guru in our neck of the woods. He's got a really good knack for not just what the Constitution says, but the context and what the Constitution is. So while we've got people assembled here together, it's a great opportunity to kind of be mindful of those things, especially as we come into the patriotic time of the year. We've got Memorial Day coming up, we've got Independence Day coming up, and so it's the Flag Days on the way. So this is definitely a great time to start thinking about the Constitution. So Kurt, thank you again for